Alright, so we have Kaleva on the left and luigi100 on the right. Luigi is the former world record holder for this category, slowly inching his way back there. We lost it actually during the tournament, so that's kind of an interesting thing. Or not during the tournament itself, but during a period when the tournament was going on, so it's fairly recent.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that this tournament started at the beginning of the month, and now this is the second to last match before it's over.
Yeah, it does seem like only yesterday, maybe not quite yesterday, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, yeah.
That it started. It's crazy to think that we're right at the end.
Well, I know whoever wins this is going to the grand finals against the Potato, who I believe already beat both of these racers in a previous round, so we'll see if they can get their comeback then.
Yeah, it's important to note too that the finals are best of 3, so there is definitely a lot of room for anyone to take it still.
Yeah. And one thing I kind of liked at the beginning of the tournament that we're not really seeing anymore, because we're all top players at this point in the tournament, is we're not going to see a lot of route divergence. So throughout the whole run, both racers are going to just be taking spread and going through what they can.
Yeah, and so along those lines, you saw both players enter the tutorial. That is to pick up the coin. In this route, we only need 4 coins to get spread shot, and thus it's actually quicker to do the tutorial, pick up a coin there, and get the 30 from the apple, as opposed to entering the first run again. So you see both players getting ready to finish up the root pack here. Kaleva taking it a little earlier.
The root pack is an incredibly simple boss, so I mean, with some of the strats, it can be a bit tricky to do all the damage needed, but for the most part, not really too much of a problem.
No.
Now, our next boss, on the other hand, not as easy.
Let's see if they get good RNG here in the attack patterns.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know which attack pattern is good, but it looks like we got the same attack pattern on both ends.
Yeah, so Kaleva, actually both of them going into phase 2. I imagine then that both of them will have to fight phase 2, neither of them getting the quick transition straight into phase 3.
I think after this attack, though, we'll see both of them go into the... Yep, both of them going into the final phase. And not only with the attack pattern, but the attack that the slot machine launches here. This is the first boss in the run that really shows off just how random the speed game can be.
See, Kaleva getting the devil, and you can see the platform shoot fire in either an upward or a downward direction, while Luigi getting the best of the 3, just getting standard platforms.
Yeah, and we see Kaleva now getting standard platforms, and Luigi getting what I believe the tiger.
Yeah, and that knockout sync, though.
Yeah. If I were stubbed, that would be a speed sync moment, but not quite.
Alright. So Kaleva did take a little bit longer on that fight by just 2 seconds. Luigi did take a second longer than Kaleva on the root pack. So we're still very much neck and neck.
Yeah, and...
There's still a lot of bosses to fight and everything.
Yeah. This boss in particular. I don't know what to say about this boss. I imagine it's easy. Oh my goodness. Like,
the mirror sync. What the heck?
This is weird. Yeah, no, as I was gonna say though, I don't really know how this boss can influence your run too much at a higher level. I personally am not too good at this game, so I mess up this boss all the time. It's actually a surprisingly difficult beginner boss if you're not as, like, I don't want to necessarily say the word good, but I'm implying good at the speedrun. Goopy can just throw your day away.
Right. So this is a rather interesting departure from what we've seen so far. Both of these players will be going to pick up the plane. It is required. There are a number of fights in this game, like the next one they're going to, in which you are in a little plane. And this is... Yeah. And so this is actually the only fight in the game that you are required by the game itself to, what am I looking for? The loadout is the same, because at this point you only have the machine gun.
Yeah.
So this should be a very similar fight for both runners. Getting different phase 2s, and Luigi actually skips his phase 2.
That's pretty good. Kaleva had a fast phase 2, but the skip entirely is really good for Luigi. Yeah, you see the neck and neck, still neck and neck, but like not by as much as it has been the rest of the race so far.
Yeah, chat pointing out that that is able to be manipulated, like most everything else in this game, actually. If you, at least at the top tier, a lot of runners know precisely how much damage they're doing to the boss at any given time, and you really get a sense for when the bosses are going to transition. And so the way this game works, as far as transitions go, is that they don't transition in the middle of an attack phase. If they start a phase, and then you cross that transition threshold, they will finish the attack and then transition.
Yeah, that allows us to do some of the... Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, that's how, like, Ribby and Croaks works, where if you get the good attack pattern and cross that threshold, like, right at the beginning, then you have all that extra time to do that damage, which actually does still take away from the boss's health, and if you do enough, you can skip entire phases on some bosses.
There's one that's a bit more common that we'll be seeing on a later boss, where you can kind of, if you get a good attack pattern, you can do enough damage before its final phase. But for now, we just have Cagney, who's not the most difficult.
No, Luigi just getting ready to end the fight. Kaleva just getting into the last phase. He'll be ready to end the fight shortly.
Yeah.
All in all, not too bad. 45 for Luigi. So this is about one of the few points in the run coming up where we might see a little divergence in the route. You can do the first 3 bosses in Aisle 2 in any order you want. Typically, we'll see runners go Beppy, Jimmy, Baroness, or the reverse of that, depending on whether they want to pick up the only other weapon for the plane. I think Luigi typically goes for it, so he'll probably be doing Baroness first.
Yeah.
And I don't recall Kaleva off the top of my head.
I don't know either. But Baroness is a nightmare. We'll see Kaleva's also heading to Baroness.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Luigi does on this fight, because he's gotten some really insane times on this fight throughout the tournament.
So, this boss is 5 henchmen, and it chooses 3 at random to send out at you in a random order. So we saw a waffle and a muffin from Luigi's side, and we see a jawbreaker on Kaleva's side.
Oh, Kaleva, no. RNG, please.
Yeah. We saw the candy corn is probably the worst one. Nobody likes it because its movements are very hard to predict compared to the rest of them.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know, if you ask me, it's more... The Jawbreaker isn't bad as far as actually taking it down. It just has a really long death animation.
It does.
I think the Muffin for me is probably the worst, just because it jumps all over the place, and
yeah, I take the Muffin really slow. I take the Muffin really slow because I don't feel too good about it sometimes, but the candy corn, dude, it's just terrible.
Man, Luigi getting a great fight. Kaleva getting a pretty great fight too, despite the RNG of the Jawbreaker and the Muffin early on. And Luigi is going into Jimmy now, as Kaleva is going to pick the bombs. Still very good. I think Luigi got the waffle first. Yeah, waffle muffin, then the candy corn.
I have no words to describe this boss that are safe to say on this restream, so if you'd like to talk about this boss while it happens.
Alright, well, we see Kaleva ending the first phase there. There are, I think 3 different attacks you can do. I think Luigi might have gotten the jewels. Kaleva getting the swords. You see Kaleva here in, I guess, the second phase, looking at these pillars. You want to destroy those faces. Each one does do damage to the boss, so on the occasion that you get 2 faces in a column, destroying both of them will do more damage. You can destroy them completely with a single bomb. However, as you notice Kaleva doing, I am pretty sure Luigi didn't too, I wasn't quite watching. But if you shoot the faces a couple times first and then launch the bomb, you can get a little bit extra damage. And Luigi is not going to have any problems finishing this fight. 3 HP right at the end. It's just a matter of them getting the knockdown. There it is. Kaleva.
Kaleva seems also at 3, but wasted the super there. That's not good.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen before. I'm not sure if that actually still does damage to the boss or not. I think some transitions in the game actually won't let you do damage during that time. Some will. I'm not sure on that one, honestly. It might be the first time I've ever seen anyone do that. Damage carries over, according to chat. So awesome. Luigi is now going into Beppy. Kaleva will be headed toward Beppy as well. Luigi being a little risky there and standing on the left. Very little movement room if Beppy decides to move left. Did fairly well on that phase though, and moves effortlessly onto phase 2. And Kaleva is doing the same thing. Getting a little, getting a little bit better movement there, but Beppy got him right at it.
Beppy is not nice.
Luigi getting a really good attack pattern for phase 3 there. Ideally, what we want to see is exactly what he got. We want the green horse, no roller coaster. You can just stand under it, pelt them, and you can actually one-cycle that phase. Kaleva might be able to get it, yep. I was going to say, depends on how that roller coaster moves, but...
The roller coaster, it's on a set, it comes in at a set time. So if you do the fight faster, it'll come in at different times. So usually there's a speed you want to do it at to not have it mess you up, but it can still happen.
Kaleva being on 1 HP at this part is making me a little anxious.
Yeah, the penguins are not.
Because I know how hard that particular phase can be at times. For me, at least. And I know if I'm not going in with at least 2 HP, it's pretty much a dead run for me. So Luigi's starting on Wally Warbles. This is one of those fights where the bombs actually help a little bit, depending on the RNG. You'll see in the last phase when we get there that depending on how the boss moves, it could put our runners in a very tricky situation.
Mm-hmm. This boss is the main reason I started grabbing the bombs when, in my original learning, I didn't do that.
And let's see, Kaleva getting ready to, I guess, I don't know if he just transitioned to phase 2 or has been there, but Luigi getting ready to go into phase 4. You'll see Luigi stick to the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Getting bad movement RNG right there.
Mm-hmm.
Having the bird go left. You see there's very, very little movement, room to move about.
Yeah.
But handling that fight like a boss, clutching it out. Very awesome job, Luigi. Kaleva, same thing is happening. Getting bad movement RNG.
She's just damage boost and go through them to get to the easier place to not die. I don't know how else to word that.
Both runners did a very good job on that fight, though, clutching it out, despite that. A little bit behind, just due to the fights themselves. Maybe a little bit due to load time, but mostly just slightly slower fights overall.
Mm-hmm. Luigi had really good, especially in the latter half of Aisle 1, had really clean fights.
Mm-hmm. So both of our runners now on Grim Matchstick, often considered to be one of the first true run killers of the route.
I'm pretty sure every boss is a run killer in this game, but...
Yeah, it can be, but this is one I see a lot of complaints about.
Yeah, not the greatest.
A large portion of this fight is dependent on those clouds and where they spawn on the screen. If you get really good clouds, then this fight becomes significantly easier. If not, then you have to spend a lot more time figuring out where you're going to move and how you're going to adapt to shooting the boss while being in particular positions. The bottom of the screen is actually not there, so if you fall, you will take damage. But both runners on the final and scariest phase of Grim Matchstick. Luigi finishing it right there. Kaleva probably getting ready to finish it. 2 HP. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome work, guys. It's a 116 for Luigi.
107. That's a good catch-up for Kaleva.
So at this point, we have 9 more bosses to go, and it's still anyone's game. Anything can happen within those 9 bosses. The ILFA bosses are some of the longest and hardest fights in the entire game, and so a death here, especially when the races are this close, it can cost the entire match. Luigi doing really well getting that phase 1 kill before the officer turns around. Kaleva doing the same thing. So both of them will fly to the left, saving a little bit of time during the transition to phase 2. So this is one of those moments where you really want to try and just wail on the boss as much as possible. Rumor Honeybottom's phase 3 is a major pain, and if the runners are good enough and if they're successful in attempting this strategy, you can actually kill the boss before it gets to phase 3 like Luigi did right there.
Yeah. Kaleva didn't have a lot of EXs, so I don't know. Nope. So Kaleva's gonna go through this. Okay.
Not actually. I mean, A little bit slower than Luigi, but still avoided all the dangers of that phase. So it's still a very nice quick phase 3 for Kaleva. And this is the other run that really utilizes the bomb very well. In this first part, what you want to do is try and destroy the 3 parts of the robot, being the laser on the head, the hole in its chest, and the square vent on its gut. And if you have the bombs, you can actually hit both the chest and the gut at the same time. It also helps a lot in the last phase of this fight, depending on how the fight goes, how the electric fences move, and how your positioning on the screen compared to Dr. Kull's robot.
Mm-hmm.
So Kaleva not doing too badly on the first couple phases. Luigi's getting ready to get the knockout there. Kaleva's still on 2 HP. Has a really solid chance at finishing this right now. Taking a damage boost there. Not entirely sure that was intentional. It looked like it may have been. Which, 2 HP, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if he can clutch it out and finish. And he does. 1 HP using the patented Justin strats.
Yeah.
Luigi is moving on to Sally's stage play now. And honestly, there's not a lot to talk about here. Sally is, at least compared to the other Aisle 3 bosses, probably the easiest one. There's not a lot going on in the fight. Not a lot of danger here for experienced runners, but that isn't to say there isn't any danger at all. Any one of these bosses, if you let the fight get away from you, can just wreck your entire run, even Sally.
But did a good job, Luigi, dodging those wind-up car things. I don't even know what this boss is. Took a damage boost to that wave, because otherwise you have to run to the other side and bust open a meteor and parry over it, and that just takes really long. So if you have health here, you usually don't want to get hit by, or you usually want to get hit by it. Kaleva accidentally getting hit though twice, trying to dodge attacks. So yeah, you see how much time you can lose by having to jump over that wave the normal way.
Oh! No. Oh, that is not what you want to be doing right now. Unfortunately, Kaleva taking a death. I said, commentator curse, I guess.
Yeah.
Sally isn't that hard of a fight, but you let it get away from you, and anything can happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that will put Luigi at quite an advantage for this race. It's so possible that Luigi can mess up and Kaleva can make up that time, but it's going to take something big. Okay, Luigi opting to stay on the top of the shelf there. You can actually dodge the fire if you jump in air and fire an EX. Gives you a little bit of, I guess, what I would call hover.
You kind of stay in place while you're firing it.
Right, and that allows you to just get enough time to
not get hit by the fire. The flamethrower is short enough in attack that if you jump to your right height and then at the right time, then throw an EX, the flamethrower will be gone by the time you would go into where its hitbox would be if it wasn't gone. Which just makes the fight a lot easier with replacing having to just constantly jump up and down with just timing your shots right.
Yeah, to comment on a question in chat, why are we using spread? Well, this is the current patch version of this category, and so they took out what we refer to as weapon swap glitch, which basically means that if you can spam your weapon switching fast enough, then you can actually do a lot more damage by virtue of having bullets from both guns on screen at the same time. They did patch that out back in December, and so that's no longer an option. And through extensive testing and everything, we found that spread is actually the best weapon for this category.
Yeah.
Although it does become a very risky category at that point because you have to be very close to the bosses.
Yeah, spread is good when all of the bullets from the spread are hitting the boss, but in order to do that, you have to be really close to their face.
Luigi gets a 49 on Briny, while Kaleva finishes Warner with a 59. Yeah, Luigi got a very nice Briny. We didn't get to talk about it too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, we have Kaleva going into it, so...
Right.
We mentioned that he's an RNG nightmare.
Yes, very much so.
Good day for us. Well battled.
Speaking of RNG nightmare, I'm not a big fan of the boss that Luigi is fighting right now. Not my favorite boss in the world.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. So, you see on Kaleva's screen that Briny can call in some animal companions. Kaleva getting a good one, getting shark. What we really want to avoid is the dogfish. And getting another shark, so that's really good on Kaleva.
The shark is the best because you're always at the right of the screen, really. Because that's the best way to do damage with the spread, and the shark will not hit you if you're on the right of the screen.
Right, so, I mean, in this route in particular, because we're already on the right doing the spread stuff, the shark is basically useless. One thing I don't think we got a really good impression of that fight from in this race is that that is a pretty dangerous fight in the sense that it's very busy. There are a lot of attacks, a lot of things happening all at once, and if you're not paying attention to everything, then you can very easily take an accidental bit of damage here and there, and maybe you to death.
So Luigi just finishing Cala Maria as Kaleva enters Cala Maria.
Also a very busy fight. Her first phase has a number of attack patterns, and often they will combine with each other, as you can see right now on Kaleva's screen, getting a pretty decent combination there. What I like to avoid is the pufferfish ghost combo.
That's a dangerous combo. Fortunately, we have a pufferfish eel combo. Is that an eel? It's electric, so I think it's an eel. It's not an eel. There's eels later in the fight. It's an electric dolphin. I don't know.
Yeah, Kaleva, I wasn't quite paying attention. Chat pointing out that Kaleva got a 45-second Briny Weird fight.
That's crazy.
It's just amazing. Like, I can't underestimate. Like, these runners are making this look relatively easy.
This is not easy.
It's not an easy game. I'm sure that everyone has heard the stories about, you know, Cuphead being the Dark Souls of platforming or whatever. It's known for being a very difficult game. And these runners are just slicing through it like a hot knife through bread.
Yeah. I was about to make a very dated meme, but I stopped myself.
Luigi going into the last phase of Phantom Express with 3 HP. Imagine they won't have any problem getting this fight done.
Yeah. Phantom Express is one of the longer fights with 4 phases in it. There's, as you climb up the train, I'd actually say that the beginning of the fight is probably the hardest part with this eyeball ghost here.
chat pointing out that I meant to say butter, not bread.
I mean, I'm guessing it's going to go through bread pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, Kaleva is on phase 2 of Phantom Express. What I really like about this fight is that each of the phases feels, in a way, like independent of the others. Each one just has a very distinct attack to it. Whereas some of the other bosses, like Cuphead, for instance, phase 1, he jumps around and tries to punch you. Phase 2, he's bigger, but he jumps around and tries to punch you.
Phase 3, he's a gravestone. He moves around and tries to smack you. How different. Speaking of different, King Dice, you play a board game with this boss, and you have 9 different mini-bosses you can face off. You're gonna have to do at least 3 to get to the end of the board. So we're gonna do the 3 shortest ones that we can do.
I believe both runners will be trying to go for 2, 4, 8, which, fortunately for Luigi, not that it's a big deal. Only one of the extra hearts is along that path. If you notice that along the backboards, one of the bosses in each set of 3 has an extra heart, and if you happen to land on that spot, you immediately pick up an extra health, even if it would put you above what we would consider max.
Yeah. You can have, I think you can have a full 6 HP if the hearts are all on 2, 4, 8. And if you have even, you won't buy them in a run, but if you did have the twin heart item, you might, I don't know if you can carry 8 HP. I've never tried that. I don't know. I don't use the twin heart.
Back when, in the early days when I was a casual, I used
I'm always a casual, honestly.
Yeah, Kaleva, should mention, did insanely well on Phantom Express, getting a 1-cycle engine kit. 2C Plus mentioning that in the entire tournament, Kaleva has always 1-cycled that engine. So that's absolutely insane. I mean, it's amazing to me that, I mean, this race is only down to 1 death so far. If Kaleva hadn't taken that death, this would have been
way close.
Way closer. Maybe even Kaleva had the lead.
Maybe, because after that death, Kaleva's World 3, or the rest of his Aisle 3 has been absolutely crazy. The 1-cycle engine, the 45 Briny, he's been strong.
Yeah, Luigi getting a nice sync knockout.
Domino and Dice.
Yeah, Domino and Dice. Fortunately, Kaleva does have another phase and final fight against King Dice. Still, but I'm not gonna whip this bread thing down, apparently.
You know? Yeah, no, I'm watching this happen.
Okay. Luigi going on to the final fight. You actually do have the option to turn over the contract, but this just prevents you from fighting the devil, and so in this category we don't do it.
And I think we simply do it.
What we don't want to see from Luigi's side is the spider. Spider isn't too hard of an attack to deal with, but if you're trying to go fast, it's a pain in the butt because the spider drops in a random location and it doesn't give you a lot of time to shoot.
Yeah. It's not that it's hard to dodge, it's just that it doesn't let you get a lot of damage in during the attack, so if you don't see it, that's good, because that means you have more time to attack. Unfortunately, Luigi didn't see it.
Right, I was almost hoping for it, just
to see if we could start a catch-up.
Yeah, at this point, I would imagine, unless Luigi really messed up, which I really doubt will happen,
There's a lot happening in the later parts of this fight.
Yeah, and it has certainly happened before, but Luigi is going into the last phase of Devil here with one, or not quite dead. Okay, now he's gone. 1 HP, but
the teardrops that the boss spawns here can be a big problem sometimes. I've died to them, but Luigi doesn't and takes the victory.
Right as Kaleva is entering that fight too. GG Luigi.
Official SRL time 35 minutes 4 seconds.
Getting a 3206 logo for anyone interested.
That's crazy.
Very nice. Very. Not a PB. It would have been a couple weeks ago, but Luigi's only a few seconds off this category. He's running out of chances to get that race record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have words with him if he doesn't. But I should very much emphasize that this is a very good showing by both runners. Kaleva being a little has to really clutch this one out, being on 1 HP. But a very, very close race by all means. Both runners have done extremely well in this tournament. Certainly for getting this far, both having very high seeds. It's a shame that we have to lose Kaleva, but such is the nature of a tournament.
But he does finish with 36:28 as an official SRL time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, maybe I'll go back later and figure this out. And I doubt it, because I don't think the death took a minute 20, but if that death had a significant impact on the race itself, as far as time is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was on Sally, probably lost maybe 40 seconds. This is a rough estimate, maybe 40 to 50. I mean, we're still talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. It wouldn't quite have put him ahead. But very, very good runs from both. That's for sure.
Yeah. Are we going to see if we can get someone in for post-race? Because Luigi looks like he's ready to join us.
Oh, Luigi's going to talk for once. Awesome. Let's bring him in here.
Hello.
Hello.
Man, you can actually talk for once. That's awesome.
Yeah, for one time I finally can talk. It's like the second time after, I don't know, 6 races I can talk. So yeah, that's something. But yeah, that race was insane.
That was crazy.
That ending.
Yeah, it was a very nice. It said, as you saw, Kaleva did take a death.
Yeah, I see. That died on Sally State's place, so that's unfortunate. But as he said, he believes he couldn't beat me even with Deathless run, because I get another insane run, which is amazing because I'm just surprised how consistent I can be during this tournament. Because when I'm doing practice and stuff like that, I'm just talking everywhere, dying everywhere, and stuff like that. But when it comes to race, I'm just doing well, and this is amazing for me. But that devil fight, I almost died on the last parry, but on the last phase, when I wanted to parry tier to dodge the platform. I didn't get the tier, so I was sure I'm gonna fall down and was ready to restart, but somehow I survived and I just realized, oh wait, I'm alive, and I started to shoot again. So that was a really close one, and I'm not sure if I would be able to beat Kaleva if I would die on the devil. Probably he would beat me, I'm not sure. But yeah, that for sure would be close. But yeah, I survived, and well, that just happens once again.
Yeah.
So, is there a particular moment during this run that stood out to you as being, very noteworthy, or?
I'm not sure. I think everything was fine. Maybe not the dragon. I know I got really bad the time on dragon because on the first of his attack, the laser beam from I just get hit randomly because I do a stupid mistake. I'm just like, oh, and I just decided to play it safe. So I lose even like 8 seconds here, but it was worth it. I just prefer to not die because it's a tournament. Last time when I was at world record pace on the last race, I just decided to go all in. Hello, Kaleva. And I almost got world record on the last run, but the problem is I got a spider pattern on Devils, so that's the reason why I didn't get it. But that was really close to world record. This one was close to one moment, but it ended on the dragon and I lost too much time. I was like 12 seconds behind my PB, so I just decided to play safe from that moment.
Understandable. Something we didn't really touch on a lot during this race. And before I continue that, welcome Kaleva to the post-race interview. GG.
Yeah, GG's. It's a fun race.
Yeah, it was very nice. Unfortunately, with that death, it kind of just set the tone for things. But...
Yeah, it was just a stupid death. Like there was nothing else in it. Like who does on Sally? Seriously, I was just dodging those mouse robots, and I took 2 hits right there. And,
well, it's just more proof that the commentator's curse exists. Because I was just talking about how it's the easiest of the IL-3 fights and how like you really shouldn't be dying.
But yeah, side stage break up be definitely hard if she's gonna use different pattern. For example, on my run, I got 2 robots in the same time. He just used the toys, then jumped once, and then used her toys once again. And I was surprised because I saw that pattern for the first time. Luckily, I was at 3 HP, so I can tank it 2 times, and everything works fine. But I just got really surprised doing that fight.
Yeah, I did want to get back real quick that in a race setting, like when you're going for record, it's very easy to just like go risky because if you don't, then you're not going to PB, you're not going to get records and stuff. But in a race setting, it's very different because there's more of a focus on finishing.
Yeah, it's
sometimes you have to kind of straddle the line between how risky and how safe you want to play, just with that goal in mind.
I mean, the problem is on the world record attempts and stuff like that. You just know if you're gonna die or screw up something, you can just restart the run and start once over again. But on tournament, if you're gonna die, you are behind and stuff like that, and it's gonna be hard to catch up with the opponent. Mostly when you are fighting with someone who's pretty good, and Cuphead is punishing game. If you're gonna die on the boss, you're gonna lose from like half of the minute to even 2 minutes close. So yeah, it's different for each boss. So death on Cuphead is really punishing. So you want to play it safe sometimes, lose like 5 seconds to playing safe, then dying. That's all.
Well, I imagine, Kaleva, that your kind of bad moment for the race would be your death. But did you have a moment during your seem to stand out to you as being particularly good?
Could you repeat? I think my audio
I
just...
got like 2, but I believe he asked what was the best thing on this race for you? What did you do well?
Well, I just said that it was a fun race. I got like some really good segments. Like, I'm pretty sure you noticed that I got a 45-second Briny Bird, which was my best Briny Bird split ever.
Yeah, that's one of the best times you can get here.
Yeah, and I got that magical 1-cycle train again on a race, and I can't seem to get it on like actual world record attempts, like not a single time. I just get it every single time in a race. So it's kind of weird.
Tournament consistency, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I did pretty well too. I got like 4 gold splits on my PB. I mean, on my split. So
that's very good for a race.
Yeah, that was the one moment that was really good run. But as I said, I need to play safe in some places, making me lose too much time. And well, that wasn't a world record run anymore. But it's still really good run for the race. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
you even beat my PB with that run. So yeah, it's pretty good run.
All right, so here's a question for Luigi. I guess looking forward in this tournament, not that there's much to look forward to, but we are now going to be going into the finals, and you will be facing the Potato123, who you faced a couple rounds ago, and is actually the person who knocked you into the losers bracket.
Yep, so it's time for a revenge, that's for sure.
So, is there, I guess, how do you feel about this matchup?
It's gonna be tough, that's for sure, because Potato is an amazing runner and he already beat me once. I know I have a death during that run, but honestly, even without that one death I got during that race, I wasn't sure if I would beat him with the time I would get deathless. So it's gonna be tough, that's gonna be interesting, but that's definitely gonna be something. So I suggest everyone to watch that one, because that's gonna be a great final. And well, we both gonna do our best, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it'll be interesting to see, too, because the best of three, how that stamina factor plays into it. I mean, it's one thing to sit down and do a run of Cuphead, but to sit down and do, at minimum, 2, at most 3, back-to-back, it becomes, in a sense, less about the run itself, but a little bit more on the side of, can you be consistent when you're sitting down to do these, 40, 35-minute runs, back to back.
I guess I'm gonna do kind of fine, because when I'm streaming, I'm playing for like 3 hours, 4, so it shouldn't be a big problem. The bigger problem gonna be stress and stuff like that, because you have 3 races, so you wouldn't like to screw up any of them. And if, for example, I'm gonna lose first round, then I'm gonna know, oh crap, I'm behind, I need to win 2 races now. So that's gonna be something, but I think me and the Potato gonna do fine. We played this game a lot, so I don't think the 3 races gonna be much different. It's just gonna take longer and gonna be more hard to handle, but after all, I think it's gonna be fine.
Well, I think I don't have any more questions.
Do you?
I don't have any either.
So, is there anything you guys want to say before we cut?
I will forget someone about that famous question. Would you always like to ask from the beginning of the tournament?
I don't know. We've gone through that so many times by now.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Consistently asked it anyway.
Yeah, we don't ask that question for a long time, so I guess it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I messed that up. Wouldn't be the first thing I messed up on stream either.
Alright, yeah, no, I have nothing to say.
Thank you.
No thank yous.
In that case, I would like to thank Luigi and Kaleva for joining the post-game interview. Congratulations again to you, Luigi, for winning and getting into the finals.
Thanks.
Congratulations on making it this far into the tournament at all, Kaleva.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
it was a
Kaleva-
nice turning.
Yeah.
Kaleva
For
got really far, because he's one of the runners who started to play this game not too long ago, so for that little time he has to practice, he really gets really far, so that's something to mention.
Yeah,
Congratulations for him. So he might get the world record in this category. He's really close.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for, but I'm just gonna see if that's gonna happen. I'm going to be going for it for a little more time after this. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back for this category too after the tournament, or maybe on the finals I'm gonna get the record. Who knows? Maybe I'm just saving the best run of runs for the end. Nah, we will see.
You gotta do it, Luigi. It has to happen. It's almost free.
Anyway, I think that will do it for us for today. Make sure to check back in the schedule to see when this final, at least the first finals match, will be scheduled. I imagine it'll probably be sometime tomorrow, but it's hard to say with holidays and time zones and everything. But thank all of you for coming out to watch this race. Go support our runners. They did an amazing job in this race throughout the entire tournament. And thank you Speed Gaming for hosting us and working with us on this tournament and providing restream coverage. And then thank you, Laurie, for joining on commentary.
No problem. I had a good time. And with nothing else to say, if you guys want to stay tuned here on Speed Gaming, in 5 short minutes we're going to have some Rockman 2 action, so definitely stay tuned.
Alright, well, with that, I guess we will see you guys later.
Yeah.
Next time, guys.
See ya.
Till the next time.